There's no magic on January 1st. In fact, it can set you up for failure. Think about it. The holiday chaos, it's barely over. You're exhausted. And suddenly you're supposed to flip a switch and be a whole new person. Nope. Everyone acts like it's some kind of fresh start, like somehow this year will be different. That the calendar turning to a new year will magically make you a new person who's 100% focused and crushing your goals. Dang, I wish. You're never too busy, too tired, too old, or too anything to pursue your dreams. Welcome to the Distracted Dreamer podcast, where you'll learn how to move all those never-ending distractions aside and chase your dreams with confidence. Hey there, dreamers. Welcome back to the Distracted Dreamer. I'm your host, Carlene, and I'm so glad that you're here and we have this time together. Today, I'm going to challenge all the usual hype around goals, the new year, and resolutions. But first, I have to read you this question I got from one of my listeners, Yvonne. She says, Carlene, thank you for the motivation episode. I never understood motivation until now. I just always told myself I was lazy. When are you going to start talking about goals? Will you have a class or workshop? Setting goals is hard, and to be honest, I never follow through. I want 2025 to be different and really need some help. Well, that is a great question, Yvonne, and thank you for asking it. I have a really great answer to that for all of you. So I'm going to lay it all out for you in this episode. And I'm kind of a rebel when it comes to the pressure of goal setting and planning. I don't buy into it, and I've spent the last decade first figuring out what works for me and at the same time noticing what has worked for my clients. And that is what I'm going to share with you today. So this is just my way. It doesn't have to be yours. If you've got something that works for you, keep doing it. But if you're so over the pressure cooker of the end of the year and rah January, then this is the episode for you. Now, don't worry. I'm keeping it light and pressure-free. We're not diving into hardcore goal setting today. Instead, I'm sharing 3 surprising things I don't do as a coach. And I think some of them might just make you breathe a sigh of relief. And for those of you like Yvonne who just want to know, do I have a workshop coming your way or not? The answer is yes. And the link to hop on the wait list is below in the show notes. I will talk more about that later, but for now, just grab your coffee, your tea, or whatever helps you chill. And we're going to dive in. Now, let's get into the juicy part. The 3 surprising things I don't do as a coach. All right, the first one is I do not start goals on January 1st or anytime in January. There's this unspoken rule that January 1st is the universal start date for all goals. And let me tell you, there's no magic on January 1st. In fact, it can set you up for failure. Think about it. The holiday chaos, it's barely over. You're exhausted. And suddenly you're supposed to flip a switch and be a whole new person. Nope. Everyone acts like it's some kind of fresh start, like somehow this year will be different. That the calendar turning to a new year will magically make you a new person who's 100% focused and crushing your goals. Dang, I wish. But that's just a bunch of malarkey. Okay. So there are 2 things that I use January for. January is not a waste. First, everyone tells you to reflect on your year in November or December. Here's why I wait until January to reflect on the entire year. I believe that reflecting on your progress weekly, monthly, and quarterly is incredibly valuable. And if you do that, rushing your entire year, your annual reflection before the year is actually over, it puts you at risk of shortchanging yourself. Let's face it, trying to find some quiet headspace to reflect on your entire year seems almost impossible at the busiest time of the year, the holidays where you're shopping and cooking and all the social events and the wrapping and the traveling. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to ease into an honest reflection after all the hustle and bustle is done? Now, I know you may disagree with this approach, and that is A-okay. You do you. Look back on your past Januaries. If you were killing it in January, then you've probably already done your reflecting, goal setting, and planning. But if you're like me and your Januaries are usually fraught with pressure, I recommend starting when you feel ready. Maybe it's mid-January, maybe it's February, or maybe it's March when the weather starts turning around. The calendar doesn't dictate when you're ready to grow. Now, the second thing I do in January is to continue chipping away at the goals and dreams I'm so close to achieving and using them as a launching point for the rest of my year. So here's an example. My dream in 2024 was to reimagine my business so I could support more of you. And I've made a lot of progress on the goals to make this dream a reality, but it's not done, not by a long shot. And this podcast is the first stepping stone. And there's so many other things that I need to strategically do to make this dream a reality. I'm not going to abandon this goal just because the calendar turned to another year. I'm going to keep going. So what's that thing that you started in 2024 that still matters deeply to you? Don't just abandon it. Use January to keep going and stay in the game, and use all that intel to map out your year for 2025. So this begs the question, when the heck do I actually plan out my new year? Well, I'm glad you asked. I plan out my year at the end of January, when my head is clear and I'm still in action on my dreams, using the momentum from the past year. So again, I use January very strategically. First is to reflect and learn from the past year. And the second thing is to follow through on the dreams and goals that I've made progress on but haven't finished yet. Let's move on to the second surprising thing I do not do as a coach. Here it is. I don't start all my goals at the same time. Raise your hand if you've ever tried to completely overhaul your life all at once. If you're driving, maybe just nod. It's tempting, right? The fresh start, the energy, the new planner with all those blank pages. But here's the thing. Trying to juggle too much at once is a fast track to burnout. And I've learned to treat my goals like seasons. Maybe the first quarter of the year is about building a healthier morning routine. Then in the spring, you add a goal around learning a new skill. And this spreads your focus and creates momentum and makes it way more likely that you'll stick with your goals long term. Now, I have another real life example for you. In 2023, my goal was to move to Tennessee. We were in it, building a new house, selling our house in Illinois, getting packed up. And by February of 2024, we made it to Tennessee. But you see how a dream and a goal from the last year unfolded into 2024 for us? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Then the next goal was to get the outside of the house done, all the landscaping and all that stuff. That all started in April. And then another dream of mine was to actually have friends and family here to enjoy our new home with us. And we were blessed with so many friends and family visiting for the summer. And my husband and I agreed that it felt like we had more visitors here than we ever had in Illinois. And it was such a blessing to invite people into the place we now call home. And that was a dream and continues to be a dream. But I still had this dream about my business that I hadn't started. So in September, I reduced the number of one-on-one clients I work with. And by October, I was in full podcast creation mode. Did you hear that? October. I launched this podcast on October 29th, practically November. Remember, you don't have to start any goal, let alone many goals, in January. Make a plan and spread out your efforts, your energy, and your time commitment to set yourself up for making progress. Trust your own timing. Because you know what? It's amazing how progress in one area can inspire action in another, but only when you're not overwhelmed from the start. So the first surprising thing I don't do as a coach is I don't start goals on January 1st. Next, I don't start all my goals at the same time. And finally, the third thing that I don't do as a coach is I don't do resolutions. I do intentions. What's the difference between resolutions and intentions? Well, intentions are flexible and resolutions are rigid. So resolutions, they're often framed like hard rules, like I will lose 20 pounds or I will work out every day. And then if life gets in the way and you miss a milestone, it's easy to feel like you failed. And that all or nothing mindset of resolutions can make your goals hard to sustain. Whereas intentions, they're not rules. They focus on the why and allow you to have room for adjusting them. So instead of saying, I will lose 20 pounds, you might set the intention of, I will prioritize my health. I will be healthy. I will behave healthy. And this embraces progress, not perfection, and it creates space for growth and for change. Another difference between intentions and resolutions. Intentions are broad and holistic, and resolutions are very narrow. Resolutions, they often focus on one specific area of life, such as fitness or finances, without ever considering how it fits into the bigger picture, your bigger life. Whereas intentions, they take a holistic view. An intention like, I will create calm in my life, can touch every area. It can touch your relationships, your career, your health, your personal growth, and that creates a ripple effect of positive change in your life. Another difference, and this is the last one that I'm going to talk about today, is intentions focus on the process. Resolutions, they focus on the outcome. So resolutions tend to be results-driven, and they may cause you to ignore the process or the lessons that you're learning along the way. Whereas intentions emphasize the process, or yes, the journey, by focusing on how you want to feel or what you value. Intentions keep you connected to the present. It makes it easier to enjoy the process while working towards your goals. Let's wrap up resolutions versus intentions. Resolutions are like rigid rules for what you should do. Intentions are guiding lights that focus on who you want to be, how you want to feel, and what you want to experience. With intentions, you're not just checking off a box. You're growing into the person that you want to become. Which would you rather have? A list of resolutions that lead to feelings of guilt or shame when you don't accomplish them? Or a year living with intention that's aligned with who you want to become? So if you're interested in learning how to create your dream plan for 2025, including intentions, goals, and a doable plan, pressure-free, minus the overwhelm and disappointment that we typically experience, please click the link in the show notes to hop on the wait list to be the first to know about my workshop. I promise this is not your boring let's set some goals workshop and then I send you off into the sunset to live your dream. Once you're on the wait list, you'll be the first to know when the workshop is open for enrollment. And when you sign up for the workshop, you'll get bonuses only people on the wait list will get. It costs you nothing to put your name on the wait list. So just go click that link and get that done. All right? So, my friend, as we wrap up today, here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to start on January 1st. You don't have to tackle everything all at once. And you don't have to tie yourself to rigid resolutions. Reflection and planning are gifts, not obligations. Take a moment this week to think about what this year taught you and what you want and who you want to be for the next one. And don't forget, it's okay to make your own rules. I love spending time with you here. And if today's episode sparked something for you, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a review, share it with a friend, or come chat with me on Instagram. And thank you so much for tuning in. And your dreams are waiting for you. Your time is now. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Oh, and one more thing. This is the legal language. You know, the stuff that the lawyers put together, and they say that I need to read this to you. So here we go. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm just your friend. I'm not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Got it? Good. I will see you in the next episode.